Awards for Association Living. I'm really excited to do this one today just because it's fun. My name is Alina Gilbert, and I really hope you guys enjoy this presentation. But of course, as always, we do have some housekeeping stuff we got to go through, so I'll let you read this silliness while I go through that. For those of you who have not done the webinar before, on your screen, the bulk of your screen should be the PowerPoint presentation, and then at the bottom right-hand corner is me, the presenter. Hello. There will be on the left side, you should see a whole bunch of different little kind of icons. And as we go through this, I suspect you guys might have comments, questions, expressions that you want to share. And I would ask if you see that little question mark icon on the left side, that you type in your questions and comments in there. Sometimes folks type it in that bubble right above the question mark, but it's easier to have everything in one spot. So if you could do it in the question mark, that would be perfect. And I'm saving all questions for the end. But seriously, it's going to be a fun one. All right. CMCA credits. You will get 1 credit for this. They're automatically generated, and they will be emailed to you probably within 24 hours of the presentation. If you don't see one in your inbox, please reach out to us, and we will make sure we get it over to you. Sometimes they get lost in people's spam folders, and sometimes they get lost in cyber world. So like I said, if you haven't seen it, please give us a call or email us. The other issue is if you are having any kind of technical difficulties, please do not try to type anything on here, because on my end, there's nothing I can do from here to help you with technical difficulties. Instead, I would have you call 303-991-2076. That's Sean Sanders, a direct phone line, and he is the man behind the scenes here, kind of running the show, so he might be able to help you. We also have IT people who might be able to help you if you have technical difficulties, especially if it's something on our end. So please do that if you're having problems, because like I said, I'm not checking the questions right now, and I won't see them, and I won't be able to do anything about them. All right. So without further ado, I think we can go ahead and get started. All right. So you've all had fun to reading this one? All right. And I don't know if this is real or not, but it's funny. All right. What are the Darwin Awards? I feel like we should at least explain what they are. And so I looked it up in Wikipedia, and this is the definition that came up: recognition of individuals who have supposedly contributed to human evolution by selecting themselves out of the gene pool by dying or becoming sterilized via their own actions. And of course, we have an example on the right there of what that might look like. So those are the Darwin Awards. What are the Darwin Awards for associations? Well, I took the liberty of kind of drafting a definition. So see, it's by Alina Gilbert there on the bottom. And it is recognition of communities or board members or residents who have contributed to the negative image of HOAs in the United States by doing, saying, or writing something so stupid or ridiculous that it upsets the reasonable person and makes such person not like HOAs. You guys think that's a pretty good definition? I'm thinking so. So that is the definition we are going by today when we go through our award winners. We are going to have 9 of them, so get ready. Oh, wait. Sorry, I was about to go into them. I was so excited, and I realized we have a couple more slides to go. Why do we care about the Darwin Awards for HOAs? Well, I want to say most importantly, because we can always learn from them. As you know, you see it and you know it's wrong, but sometimes when you're kind of in the middle of things, you don't think about it. And so we can always learn a lesson from these examples as to what not to do or what to do instead. And so I think it's still important that even though it's fun, that's another reason, right? It's fun. It makes us feel better about our own HOAs, hopefully. And it also helps us understand why some people don't like HOAs because, things like what we're about to see are definitely things that don't really help the HOA image. And the warnings. I have to give you warnings today. I don't normally, but there's going to be some videos in here. So hopefully your volume is turned up enough that you can hear them. There is going to be foul language in here, okay, and lots of angry people. There's nothing I can do because, like I said, the foul language and the angry people, a lot of them are in the videos, and some of it is in written materials, and it's certainly not meant to offend anyone, and it's nothing you haven't seen or heard before. But if you are someone who is easily offended by foul language, you're probably in the wrong line of business, but this is your opportunity to tune out if you'd like, and not listen to it, but I have to give you the warning. All right, so are we ready now? All right, if I had a drum roll, I would do it, but I don't. Comic relief. Common factor in both the Nobel Peace Prize and Darwin Award winners. Determination, that's us. All right, this first one's really mild. We call it the overly zealous association or lying owner, ? So I'm personally leaning towards lying owner, but let's talk about this. So on the right is this was a social media posting. So right there, you're kind of questioning it a little bit already, I know. And supposedly on the right is what the homeowner received from the association. Violation, please mow, edge, and trim your lawn. Thank you. My favorite part is this bottom. Thank you for your participation in receiving this notification, which I'm guessing means you clicked on the email or you opened the envelope or something like that. And then the homeowner attached this picture saying, hey, this is my lawn. Now, honestly, I do tend to believe that the owner is full of you-know-what. I can't imagine an association would deem that a violation, but let's assume for argument's sake that this is really what happened and that this association sent him this violation, and that is truly the house he lived in. Okay, that would be a problem. I suspect you all agree with me on that one, right? I mean, from at least this angle, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with the lawn at all. And in fact, it looks pretty well manicured to me, which is why it's very hard to believe that a violation would be sent to this home, at least for not mowing or edging or whatever, trimming the lawn. So let's look at the other side. Homeowner's lying, right? Homeowner wants to stick it to the association, and he's putting this out there. Well, as you might imagine, the comments on this social media entry, there were a lot of them, and they were all basically saying how horrible the HOA is. There was not a single comment where the homeowner or somebody said, you're full of it, and you're lying, and we don't think this is really your house. Nobody said that. And so whether or not this is true becomes irrelevant in the sense of how do posts like this impact how people view associations. It's very easy for people to say associations suck, we don't like associations, and they don't even question these types of social media posts. And so you have someone like this homeowner, which I suspect is lying, and I think you're probably all thinking that. But the people who read it and respond to it are all there with him. They're not questioning whether or not he is being honest. So that's number one. And this is, like I said, this is the tamest one we got. So let's move on to number two. This one's called, Am I the A-hole? It was spelled out. I took out the S's. This is something that went viral pretty recently. And the reason I titled it, Am I the A-hole, is because this is what the title was when this guy posted it. And here's what he writes. This is ridiculous. My parents moved to a retirement neighborhood, so I moved into their neighborhood after my job required me to move to their state. I have 3 dogs. However, 2 of them look almost the same, so we would never walk all 3 at once. It worked for 2 years. He's pretty much saying, I violated the 2-dog rule. Ha ha, in your face. I have 3 dogs. 2 of them look pretty much the same, and we don't take them out at the same time, so everyone thinks, the HOA thinks, we have 2 dogs. Yay for me. Then he writes, well, my body neighbor, I think he means busybody, but I don't know what a body neighbor would be. My busybody neighbor has been telling everyone we have 3 dogs and bitching about it on next door. How dare she hold me accountable? Oh my God. The HOA asked to investigate. One of my dogs was at the vet, so I said, go ahead. They walked through the house, and the neighbor was outside. She later walked up to me, all ugh. I think he means smug. All ugh, saying, did the HOA find your dog? I said, no, they didn't. Mind your own business, bitch. She then went on to next door to complain again, but the rest of the neighborhood is calling her crazy. There are so many things wrong with this, I really don't know where to start. And like I said, this is a fairly recent post, and it's trending right now, and it's getting a lot of hits and a lot of responses. And first of all, like I said earlier, this guy is pretty much saying, I'm violating the rules, and here's how I'm doing it without getting caught. He's like one of those dumb criminals, right? That admits that they did the job, or they videotape themselves robbing the bank and then post it on the web. This is this guy, because I'm thinking, if I was this lady and I saw this post, I'd be forwarding it to the board, going, oh my God, look, he's admitting it. So anyway, he's proud. And clearly he doesn't even acknowledge that he's doing anything wrong, right? Am I the a-hole? I can't be the a-hole. I'm just exercising my right to have 3 dogs, right? So that is in and of itself very problematic. What's more problematic and sad is all the responses. There were thousands of responses to this thing. And obviously I didn't read all of the responses, but I skimmed through quite a bit of them. And I'll be honest with you, I did not see not even one response calling him on it, saying, you're violating the rules, dude, you should come into compliance, or what are you so proud of? Everyone, it started off with, what the heck is the association doing, even telling you how many dogs you can have? Associations shouldn't be able to tell you how many dogs you have. And then it kind of evolved into associations suck, and associations are horrible, and I would never live in an association, and kind of spiraled out of control after that. There wasn't anyone there who even tried to say, look, whether or not an association should be regulating the number of dogs is irrelevant. The point is, there's a rule and you're violating it, and you need to come into compliance. I mean, nothing even remotely close to that. And I think that is very telling of our culture right now and where people are at. Nobody's going to tell me what to do, especially not an HOA. And I'm going to do what I want, and I'm going to get away with it. I'm going to tell you all how I got away with it, and it's not going to come back to bite me. It's crazy. And in my opinion, yes, you are the a-hole. Hopefully you guys agree with that. He is the a-hole. So this one is funny, but it's really, I think, more sad than anything else. So I hope this gets used against him at some point, but we'll see. We'll never know, probably. All right. This one is called the foul mouth meeting. It's about 1.5 minutes. I want you guys to watch it. I'm sure you'll be cracking up, and I'm sure this is not anything different than some of the meetings you've been to. I'm going to let you watch it, and then we will discuss.
You weren't letting anyone else speak earlier. Shut up, it's very stuck your mouth running. No. If you're going to be that disrespectful, my father, shut up. My father got killed the day after Thanksgiving, and I had kept it until yesterday. But did it? You should not be here. You should not be here. You cannot conduct yourself professionally. I can, but obviously you cannot. Right? Oh, I'm sorry. You're not
It's not done. Keep watching.
all of you fuckers need to understand somebody died. That's fine. Somebody died. I spent 2.5 weeks dealing with my father's death, and you are that insensitive that you can't even let me answer a fucking question. Using that as an excuse to
She has no assistant.
ask the question and we can't get an answer. Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow. Now, if we were doing this class live, we could all share our horror stories of similar type meetings, but oh my gosh. Okay, so many things to talk about with this one. Let me start off with the fact that this was recorded and this is on the internet, which means there's no taking it back. Once it's out there, it's out there. And so whatever state somebody is in, however they are acting, regardless of what the background information is, regardless of what led up to that, if that gets caught on tape, on camera, on camera, and then it gets posted, it doesn't matter because all people are going to see is this. So I'd like to say maybe the screaming lady is a normal person, but I can't. And I don't even know. I mean, yeah, we heard her father died, and so she's gone a little bit off the deep end. But honestly, you watch this right now, you just watch this, and I'm guessing you guys were either cracking up or going, oh my God, and oh, I have one of those at my, HOA. It's once you kind of put yourself out there, it's out there. So the first thing that I think needs to be learned from these types of videos, and there's tons of them. If you're ever just bored and you want to look, at other horrible HOA board meeting videos, just do a Google search, lots of them. And then maybe you do feel better about your own HOA meetings. But I picked this one because A, it's short. I didn't want you watching a 5-minute video, but also because you definitely formed an opinion. I didn't so much form an opinion of the board because I don't know that they got anything in while she was yelling at them. I thought, I'm not sure if there was a board member who yelled shut up or if that was her husband yelling shut up or whatever it was. It was hard to tell, but she was definitely doing, the most of the yelling. And someone in the back, it wasn't a board member, I don't believe, but someone in the back was recording it. Now, it could have been the lady whose voice you heard at the end saying she doesn't have help. I don't know. But whoever recorded it thought it was interesting enough to put it out for all in the world to see. And that's it. It's out. We're going to form an opinion. You see that lady walking on the street? You're running, right? So a lot of our associations have rules and policies in place, especially your conduct of meetings policy, that say you cannot record meetings, right? We put that in a lot of our policies. And the truth of the matter is people can be recording the meetings and we're just not catching them. They could be cleverly hiding their cell phones, whatever. Especially when you have a meeting that has a lot of people in it, right? Like an annual meeting where there's tons of people, you're not going to catch everyone who's recording it. And we always have to assume that these meetings are being recorded, even if we have a rule saying don't. And the problem is this, that at any given point, whether you're a homeowner or a board member or an attorney or a community manager, when you're in one of these meetings and things get heated, someone can push a button, right? And that's it. You lose it. You lose it. And if you happen to lose it at the time when someone is recording the meeting, guess what? You could be out there for all to see. And that's not good for you. That's not good for the association at all, right? Because now it's like, oh my God, look at this crazy association. And it's really not good for anybody. And so one of the lessons here is we always have to conduct our meetings, and especially when we do virtual meetings now, those can be recorded quite easily. Even if you're not the host, you can always just record it, with your phone. Those can easily be recorded and clipped to take out just the worst possible versions and then post it on the internet. So we always have to be cognizant of that when we're conducting meetings, that there's going to be something that upsets us. Inevitably, there's going to be something that upsets us, and we just have to try really, really hard to keep ourselves in check. And if that means you step out of the room, or you, turn the camera off for a few minutes while you cool down, maybe that's what it is. But when we get out of control, regardless of whether anyone had it coming or not, this is the risk we take. This is the risk. Okay. So that's the first issue I want to talk about. The other one was, do you guys think the association itself looked bad in this one? Now, like I said, it's hard to tell whether the board did any of the talking. You heard a few things here and there where they were trying to say something, but it sounded like the lady cut them off. So personally, I didn't think the association looked bad in this one. However, let's look at it from another perspective. What if you are a homeowner and you've never lived in an HOA at all, and you see this video on YouTube? Do you think you're going to want to live in an HOA? Are you going to think this is how all the meetings are? Well, if you're masochistic, maybe you want to live in an HOA, but I think for most people, they're going to be like, oh my God, I am never moving to an HOA because is this how all their meetings are? This is crazy, right? So these types of videos don't help the image of the HOA, even if it is a crazy homeowner who's going off the deep end. And I shouldn't say that's politically incorrect, but even if it's an angry homeowner. So be careful. Assume all your meetings are being recorded by someone and not you. And try to always remember that, especially when you feel your buttons being pushed, because we don't want to be her. All right. Well, let's go on to the next one. Peek. Hold on a second. There we go. Oh, yes. This is just a comedic break. All right. The next video is what I call the garage door fiasco. All right. Now, this is an actual news story. This isn't, a recorded meeting, but this was a news story. And again, I want you to watch it, and we're going to talk about it afterwards. All right.
9-year-old Jason is concerned.
I'm still worried a little. I'm still a little worried because I just think it's going to get all stolen,
This sheet of paper is the cause for the concern. A list left earlier this week by Homeowners Association of Auburn Greens that mandates leaving garage doors up from 8 to 4 Monday through Friday.
I don't think it's a good idea because they're going to steal my bike. I got electric scooter. I got electric wheelchair. I got all kinds of stuff. I just don't think it's a good idea to have it open.
For every home like Jason's that is following the new rule, there are plenty of others that are not, like Shally Ia.
I have nothing to hide. I understand somebody has people living in the garage. I don't. I am following the rules. All I'm asking is a reasonable way of going around this. If you want to do a bi-monthly inspection of my garage, I have nothing to hide. If I have something that's being stored in there and you don't like it, I'll remove it.
Residents say a $200 fine and an administrative hearing are the potential punishment for keeping the door down. But for some, paying the fine may be worth avoiding a burglary.
Let me give you the $200 fine right now. Give me a month so that I can get my stuff out. And I might as well empty everything out and leave the garage door open permanently because there's no point in having a garage door then.
A call to the Homeowners Association for Auburn Greens wasn't returned, and the office was closed during the hours it had posted as open. As some residents seem to be testing how open the garage needs to be, regardless of the choice to keep the door up or down, many residents share a common disdain for the rule.
I hope it does change. I hope it does.
All right, that little dude said it all, huh? So this one is now coming from, I think, from the HOA side. And what it looks like had happened is this association adopted a rule. I don't know what state they're in, but they adopted a rule that said Monday through Friday, you must keep your garage door open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Apparently, it seems they adopted it to address possibly situations where homeowners had like people living in their garages. I can tell you that if any of you call me or any attorney in our office and say, hey, we have an association that wants to adopt this rule, I think you're going to get a big heck no, except it won't be a heck. The liability exposure is huge. So we're requiring you to basically keep your garage doors open during the time when most people are at work or at school and there's no one there. And like the kid said, people have stuff in their garage, right? What were they thinking is my question. What was this association thinking? And did they consult with legal counsel? I'm thinking they may not have, because if any attorney told them, oh yeah, that's a great idea, I would probably want to disbar that person. Whether or not it's enforceable is a whole other issue. But how do you think this made the association look? And I actually think the news did a reasonable job in, reporting it, but it did not make the association look good. In fact, I think it's an example of a board that is overreaching and over controlling, because again, I don't know what state and I don't know the state laws, but it could be viewed as an invasion of privacy. It's probably not going to be enforceable, especially the fine and an administrative hearing. And this is, I think, a board, even though we didn't see the board, but this is the type of thing that very few, but some associations do that make other associations look bad, right? The overreaching association. Now, if someone has someone living in their garage, there's probably a million other ways to address that. You can call local code enforcement to come out, but you can't require people to keep their garage doors open. Further, what else do we have in here? Well, they are at it looked like a little shed office for this association with bars, and they're like, it was closed during the hours it was supposed to be open. Okay, my guess is that it wasn't really closed. They just closed it and locked it up because they didn't want to deal with the media, because really, I don't know what you would say to this. So the association looked really bad, I think. And feel free to enter stuff in the comments if you disagree, and that's fine. But I think these are the types of overzealous rules that sometimes boards want to adopt, that the attorneys, the community managers, really need to be careful with, because the means don't justify the results here. Okay, so again, and this is an example of a board that I think made the association look bad. This was all on the board in this one. All right. And this is, I really want this person on the board. This is a candidacy statement from someone. Thank God their name and the community names kind of blocked out here, but let's take a look at this. Why are you interested in serving as a director, and what goals do you want to see accomplished within your term as a director? Ensure mass misallocation of funds is ceased, and residents, what does it say? Receive full benefits of the monthly extortion. Colorful, isn't it? What is your background and experience? Have you served as a committee member or director for a community association? If yes, Please elaborate on your experience. No, the bureaucratic nightmare of West Village could benefit from having new perspective. Okay, so basically you don't have any experience. You're trying to get on the board and you're saying it's a bureaucratic nightmare, but you want to be there. Okay. Are you currently an owner? 1 year. Okay. Have you served or presently serve on any committee of this association? No. All right. Sounds good. Any other information you would like to provide? HOA fees are theft enforced by corrupt bureaucrats with bylaws as the weapon of choice. Your jobs are useless and a threat to private ownership. Your jobs are useless. You're a threat to private ownership, and I want to be there with you because I'm applying to be on the board. Right? Oh my God. Now, so if you receive this kind of a statement from someone who wants to be on the board, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this is for a position that is about to be appointed. So the board can laugh at this and say, no, as opposed to an election. But we all know there are people like this out there who try to serve on the board. They try to serve on the board for the most part because they think they're going to expose something, or they're going to stop something, or they're just doing it to serve their own best interest, which is, I want, my unit to be repainted. I want this, I want that. There is some sort of a agenda there, right? And so the question I have on this one is, if you receive something like this, do you send it out to the homeowners, assuming it's an election, with all the materials, for the folks who are getting voted in? Do we send this out? Is this going to help us or hurt us? I think for the most part, if you have, I don't want to say normal, but normal in today's whatever that means. But if you've got more or less normal people living in the community, I think this is, I would not vote for someone like this to be on the board. I mean, they sound scary. They sound a little bit like a Michigan militia type of person who's like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm my own free person, and you're all corrupt bureaucrats. That term is used a few times in here. And so does it help to send this out to the homeowners before the election, or does it hurt? Well, if most of the homeowners are like this person, it probably does not help us. But if they're not, then it might help us. But somebody posted this. I suspect it might have been one of the maybe board members, the manager. I don't know who posted this. It was anonymous, but someone did post this. And so again, it's out there. And at least they redacted the name and the name of the community, but somebody could also post it without redacting that. And then how stupid do you look if it's your name up there and you're the one writing this? I guess it depends on who's actually looking at it, because like I said, I am never, I never cease to be amazed by some of the responses we see to this. So with this one, this is really more of a, these are the types of people who may want to run for the board. And what do you do with these types of applications? Because ultimately, we gotta treat them the same way as any other application, unless we're appointing. So I think this one's hilarious personally. I hope they didn't get on the board. But if a person like that does get on the board, we normally see one of two things happen. One is they make it a nightmare for the rest of the board members, right? They argue all the time. They question everything. They go put out statements to the homeowners saying how awful the board is. And they make the board members' lives very difficult until someone resigns, right? Or the other thing that sometimes happens is they get really annoyed and upset that they're always getting outvoted, and that they can't do all the things they really planned on doing, and then they leave the board and storm off and basically then go write letters to everyone saying how horrible the board is. Those are usually one of the two things. Now, in the rare occasion, we do have some folks that come on the boards where their eyes are opened a little bit and they admit like, okay, I didn't get it before. I didn't understand how this worked. And I get it better now. I understand how difficult it is to do this. And I understand why the board has to make the decisions it makes. That is certainly, I think, a rare occurrence. It didn't used to be, but I think right now it seems to be a rare occurrence in my experience. So this is award number 5 to this person, I guess, for being so very honest. All right. What else we got? No phone for you. So this is a letter that this board apparently sent out to its homeowners, to whom it may concern. The Woodbridge HOA does not have a dedicated phone number. While it is possible to call any of us at our houses, and I don't know if that's an invitation, the only authoritative and timely responses are possible. So grammar-wise, there's an issue here, right? Responses are possible via email to directors@woodbridgeowners.com. And then they sign their names. They don't leave phone numbers, even though they said people can call. Now, in Colorado, we don't typically see this issue, mostly because we have all the various disclosures and things that have to be made, which includes, the phone number for the management office and things like that. But if you think about a self-managed community, does this type of stuff happen? It could. And I mean, you can certainly understand that no board member wants phone calls to their personal residence, and that's completely understandable. But what do you do if you are not retaining a professional management company? How do you avoid that? And I think that is a problem that some of our self-managed communities have. Certainly for those, for all of you managers here on this webinar, you know that, homeowners always get the phone number for the management company, right? Now they always complain that nobody returns their calls. They do that with our office as well. Nobody returns my calls. No one returns my calls. But we all know that that's not exactly the truth all the time. So in this case, I pose a question to you is, what do you think? Do you think this letter makes this association look bad? Because it was on the internet. Everything up here are things that people posted on the internet. And so the assumption is whatever it is you're putting out there, someone can put on the World Wide Web for all to see. And if they put whatever that is out there, does it make the association look bad? So my question to you is, do you think this makes the association look bad? I think if you look at it from an HOA perspective, kind of like we get it, we understand how this works because we're in the industry. And it's like, no, this is understandable. This makes sense. They're giving them kind of like the official communication mechanism to use for association business. And that makes sense. But again, if you're looking at it from the perspective of someone who's a homeowner who doesn't know anything about HOAs, and they're looking at this and they're like, what the heck? So all I can do is email you. What if I want to talk to you? What if I need like an immediate response? Why can't I just call you? Or you're telling me I can call you, but you're not giving me your numbers? Really? I don't know. I think it could go either way. But I also think that the naysayers will always twist whatever is out there to make it look like the association did something wrong. Kind of like with that, am I an a-hole guy? It's like the association's fault that he's not complying, right? So I urge everyone, like whenever you send stuff out, just take a quick look at it and like, is this something that can be turned and twisted? And sometimes there's nothing we can do about it, right? It can be turned and twisted, but we can't change the nature of what's in the letter. But sometimes we can tweak things and make them perhaps less incriminating, I should say. And that's not the best word, but that's all I got right now. So number 6 is no phone for you. Ready for the next one? And the media certainly doesn't help the HOA image. So this is another news cast video that this one, I want you to look at as it goes. Look at the way the media tells the story. Remember, media is supposed to be unbiased, right? Listen to the story that's being told. Look at the way things are presented visually, and then let's chat afterwards.
Wouldn't it be nice to ban people from saying negative things about you? Well, that's exactly what people living in one East Valley neighborhood accuse their HOA of doing.
The Homeowners Association sending out letters, actual letters, threatening to fine people $250 a day for negative posts and even to revoke their privileges to use the common areas.
Team 12's Nicole Zymek joins us from Gilbert to show us if the
Yay, Gilbert!
can actually do
Sorry.
that. Nicole? Well, as you can imagine, this has gotten the people who live here at Val Vista Lake talking. We spoke to one woman who said she's still stunned by what she read.
What? They're like, can they do this?
When Ashley Nardishia got this letter, she couldn't believe her eyes.
It said that I had 10 days to remove any disparaging negative comments towards any of the board members.
The letter calls comments on the page, quote, defaming, speculative, or untrue. And even says, quote, some have posted comments disparaging certain religious affiliations within the community. But Ashley says she has no idea what comments or posts the HOA is referring to. The page, she says, mostly deals with people asking for recommendations for swim schools or restaurants, or asking for advice.
650 members on this page about this. And I'm not okay with HOA asking me to censor members of our community.
She thinks the HOA may be talking about posts back in November during board elections, but even so,
I don't want people saying bad things about me on the internet, but you can't use the CCNRs to do that.
Jonathan DeSaules is a lawyer specializing in HOA cases. He says what the HOA is threatening is not enforceable, and that legally, HOAs are created to regulate use of land, not social media. He also points out there is a big difference between defamation and disparaging comments. Defamation is saying something untrue and negative, while disparaging comments,
They are opinions. Opinions are not defamation.
Ashley, meanwhile, is holding out hope this will get resolved.
I would like a formal apology to everybody that has been involved.
And we did reach out to the board for comments, but have not yet heard back. In Gilbert, Nicole Zyman, 12 News. All right, Nicole, thank you.
Okay, what'd you think of this one? Couple of things right off the bat. I absolutely love how they're interviewing this lady and they got her husband and their little girl there. What was the point of that? Well, the point of that is to make her more lovable and innocent, right? That's how the perception, it's the perception. So the media purposely did it this way so that this woman who is talking is perceived as a nice, friendly, family-oriented person. This happens all the time in media posts. The association could not be reached for comment. We're still waiting for a response. Well, we don't even know when they reached out to the association, and they're not going to tell us. It could have been like 2 hours before they posted. Nobody knows. What really happened in this one? If we read between the lines, what I am guessing is this woman started a media page specifically for homeowners in that community. And it could have been started for many reasons. It could have been started for just like, hey, we all live together. Let's have our own posts. This is not an HOA sponsored page. And it looked like a Facebook page from when they were scrolling through there. And of course, as always tends to happen, people start complaining and saying things about the board members, whoever, the community manager, or whoever else, right? So there's all this stuff. And the board got upset because the board was reading it and they're like, well, this isn't true and that isn't true. And they went to an attorney. And the attorney said, sure, let's threaten to sue them and tell them they have to remove this content. But notice there was never any comment, or they didn't even talk about an attorney representing the association, even though the letter, you could see the letter that they scanned to this lady, it was from a law firm. But we don't know anything about, this attorney, or whether they tried reaching out to that attorney, whether they talked to that attorney to kind of get the perspective from that side. We don't know. Again, intentional? Probably. So meanwhile, this innocent young woman with her little baby and her husband are being targeted. According to the media, they're being targeted. Well, again, in most cases, when we have social media posts that are negative towards boards and towards managers and whatever else, boards get upset. I have had conversations with, I'm sure, quite a few of you on the webinar, whether it was me or someone else in the firm, where it's like, what can we do? Someone's posting, bad things about the board on the media, on social media, blah, blah, blah. And normally, what do we say? Unfortunately, it's not a whole lot you can do, right? Especially since board members are really viewed as pseudo-public figures, and the criteria is so much higher than just like for an everyday person to be able to prove defamation, that you normally, there's nothing you can do. And I think good HOA attorney is going to tell you that, unless it really rises above that crazy level. And boards get upset when they hear it. And in this case, maybe they did go to their attorney, and the attorney said, look, there's nothing you can do. And then they decided to go find another attorney. They found, I don't want to say an ambulance chaser, but an ambulance chaser. And like, sure, we'll write this letter. We'll write this letter for you. Okay, no problem. Well, letter gets written, letter gets delivered, and this lady says, I'm going to the media with this letter, which we see happen time and time again. And the media does this story. So there are so many different things the media could have done to make it a more balanced story, right? As opposed to this poor homeowner, is being targeted and they're trying to censure people and blah, 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 blah. Not once did they show us anything when they were scrolling through the social media posts. We didn't see anything in there that was negative, and they purposely did that. Did you notice? Like, it was like, does anyone have an iPhone I can buy, or something like innocuous like that? The media did that on purpose, and I suspect there's probably quite a bit of negative stuff in there that they could have posted but didn't. So the short and long of this is the media does not help us. The news does not help associations in their image, because that will not sell for them. What's going to sell is the negative. And so they're always going to go that way. It's all about the bottom line, the bottom dollar. None ya business, number 8. So I don't know when in the COVID crisis this came out, but in these unprecedented times, it is more important than ever that we come together as a community, working together to stop the spread of COVID. Okay, first, report any confirmed case of COVID. In the unfortunate event that you or a member of your household tests positive for COVID, in addition to following instructions from your medical professional, please report the confirmed case immediately to the board president. Holy cow. It is the intent of this committee, or whatever it is, to promptly send notification to every owner if we have a confirmed case reported. Oh my God. In fact, the letter has already been drafted and approved by your board. Oh my God. So first of all, can anyone say privacy rights, HIPAA violations, anything like that? Certainly can't force someone to report that they have COVID. And most certainly, if someone even did report that they had COVID, would you be able to disseminate that information? Unless you have written approval from that person to disseminate that information. So this goes beyond, so much stuff. And there were associations, and there's still associations who want to base things now on, have you been diagnosed with COVID? What is, have you been vaccinated, right? What's your vaccination status? And some people are actually trying to do it. And there are so many reasons not to do it, so many liability exposures. I think this is an example of what not to do in a community, because it really is something that could expose the association to liability. Last one. Are you ready? I just call this what? WTF, question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay. And I can't explain this. This is really, I don't know what. By accepting membership in whatever homeowners association, he or she agrees the following terms and limitations for mobile and cellular devices. No mobile device shall have a cord longer than 2 feet when being operated within the home. No more than 1 foot when being operated within any vehicle. No more than 1 charging device is to be used within a single vehicle. Couples and or families may share 1 charging device or may bring an additional device with written permission from the HOA. What? All mobile and cellular devices operated within the confines of the residents' homes or vehicles, or those vehicles of those visiting, with the approval of the HOA, must be no earlier than model year 2015. Are you kidding me with this? All mobile and cellular devices owned or operated by residents must be those manufactured either by Apple or Samsung. No prepaid cellular telephones or mobile devices will be allowed. I don't know. Residents must submit to periodic and unannounced inspection of mobile and cellular devices, telephone bills, and other applicable materials to ensure compliance with 1 or more of the above restrictions. Thank you for your time and compliance. Adhering to the rules and guidelines of the whatever HOA helps ensure that our community remains one of quality and mutual respect. I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't really have anything to say on this one. I think it speaks for itself, and this is probably the Darwin Award winner of the class. What the heck? Okay. Even if this was an apartment complex, it still would be outrageous. So the only thing I can do is hope that this is some sort of a gag, but I don't know. I see, hold on. All right. I see we have, hold on. All right. Sometimes you just see it coming. I just shake my head at this one. So I am going to go, I see we have quite a few comments here. Some are comments, some are questions. So let me just go through them. And meanwhile, you can read about this 2015 Darwin Award champion. All right. What if the board wants to have the meeting recorded? Okay, hold on. What if the board wants to have the meeting recorded? I mean, certainly can have the meeting recorded. If the board is recording the meeting, usually it's for the purpose of taking minutes, and it gets deleted immediately afterwards. If you're holding on to the videos, I would ask why, and just be aware of the possible consequences of doing that, and how it can be used out of context. Works both ways with the recording the meeting. It can protect the board as well. I suppose it can, but that's not the part that's going to be posted on the social media. And once it's, like I said, it's out there, right? And nobody wants to believe that the board was innocent in all of this. So, I mean, you kind of take your chances. HIPAA violation, yes. That's a fake post to make HOAs look bad. And I don't know if that's about, this is like the first one or the last one that we just did. This is crazy. What are they thinking? Ha ha ha, WTF indeed. I love these. Yeah, but seems fake. Dancing pig. Yay, thank you, Erin. The dancing pig is cool. These are the comments. Let me see if there's anything in the actual questions. Replace residents with inmates. Interesting. That's it. You guys just had a whole bunch of like stuff to say and throw out there. I don't see any questions. I'll give it like, one more minute if anyone has questions that they want to throw out there. Otherwise, here's my email. If you have questions you want to send to me offline, just to my email address, absolutely fine. Please go ahead and do that, and I will try to answer it best I can. Thanks for attending. I hope you guys had fun while seeing. Oh, wait, sorry. One question. Hold on. What if a homeowner slanders and threatens the manager online and is stalking their Facebook? That's when I say call the police, please. And give them copies of everything that is on that's online and that's that you've seen on your webpage. Absolutely call the police. I don't ever want people to mess around with this. Great job, Alina. I guess my HOA isn't so bad. Why doesn't DORA require real estate agents to make sure potential buyers know about HOA rules? Because it doesn't, and that would be too much pressure, I suspect, because most real estate agents don't exactly understand HOA law anyway. And it's really not their job to do it. So can't really put that burden on them. So just to confirm, if the board wishes to have the meeting recorded, it should just be for minute purposes only. That's our recommendation. Okay. You can record it, for other reasons, but our recommendation is to only record it to help you with the minutes and then delete it. Okay. All right. I think that's it, everyone. Thank you again. I really appreciate this, you guys participating, and we will see you next time.